Hi guys, my name is Lindsay and I chose to do my project on my hospital's nurse staffing committee. I chose this topic because I am a member of the committee and want to give my coworkers more information about it in hopes to increase the number of members on the committee. I did my presentation in a classroom at the same place as my practicum site, which is Jersey Community Hospital. The purpose of this presentation is to explain the flow of my practicum presentation and reflect on the overall practicum experience. So I chose to have some variety in my audience. I had my chief nursing officer, who was also my preceptor for the class, and there were managers from different departments that attended as well. We also had our quality assurance and care coordinator, and I had some other members of the staffing committee present, in addition to normal inpatient RNs. Something interesting that I learned during this presentation is that per the Nurse Staffing Improvement Act of 2021, 55% of every hospital staffing committee must be RNs who work directly with inpatients. The Nurse Staffing Improvement Act of 2021 states that all hospitals must have a written staffing plan. Our nurse staffing committee formed our JCH written staffing plan, which I gave as one of my handouts during the presentation. After explaining the outline of the staffing plan, I mentioned how important it is for the staffing plan to be enforced. IDPH has some different violations and fines for hospitals that do not follow their written staffing plan. I think it worked out well that I explained what could happen if hospitals are not compliant with their staffing plan. It added a sense of seriousness to the slide and gave a cause and effect viewpoint to the presentation. This is my acuity tool. The staffing plan states that an acuity model must be in place for staffing adjustments. Since this font is smaller on the PowerPoint, I did provide some handouts on this acuity tool. The staffing committee has implemented this acuity tool to provide equal team assignments to each RN. During my presentation, I explained how the acuity grid works and gave examples of what a patient's acuity would be according to this model. This acuity tool isn't complicated to fill out, but my coworkers and supervisors haven't had the best compliance with it, so I also provided another acuity model from a different hospital to explain the benefits and differences. This is a staffing policy from Morrison Community Hospital, and I presented this model in my presentation because it has more structure than the previous acuity tool, and it clearly explains how many nurses need to be staffed on a certain number of patient acuity. The previous acuity tool is still efficient to provide equal team assignments, but I plan to present this Morrison acuity tool at my next meeting with the staffing committee to see if changing our acuity model will increase the compliance of our supervisors to fill it out more. Okay, so this variance report was the last of my handouts. Variance forms are new for my hospital and were created by the staffing committee. During my presentation, I explained the purpose and importance of these forms. These forms are a true way for the nurses to voice their concerns, and I explained that nurses cannot be punished for filing a complaint or concern against staffing. Overall, I think my presentation went well. The classroom environment was a quiet space to have my presentation, and it kept my audience focused. My audience seemed interesting during the presentation, and it gave me positive feedback at the end. I think my audience was a well-rounded group and represented different departments of the hospital. The flow of my presentation also seemed to be a positive aspect. I explained the purpose and objectives in the beginning, then explained what the staffing committee is and the responsibilities of the committee. I provided 2 articles of literature support. The first article defined what the right number of staff looks like, and the second article explained nurse burnout. I think it was good that I provided an additional acuity tool from another hospital to show a comparison of the 2 models. Overall, I was happy to explain that the nurse staffing committee is a positive addition to our hospital, and each nurse tries to have everyone's back while acknowledging everybody's concerns and ideas. To conclude, I feel like I've learned a lot from this experience. While following my preceptor, I was able to step into the leadership role and take part in leadership responsibilities, such as providing reports, participating in executive meetings, and handling the issues or concerns of the employees. This class has strengthened my nursing practice because it has opened my eyes to what it takes to be in a leadership position. It takes a lot of dedication and responsibility, so as a staff nurse, I have developed a better understanding of the job and will be more patient with administration moving forward. Ultimately, most to all leadership roles will face some tough decisions, and I have developed a better understanding for that as well. The only thing I would change about my presentation is to not get so nervous. I don't think I would have used as many filler words if I was able to be calmer at the beginning. Overall, I had such a great experience with this class, and congratulations to everyone for getting your BSN. We did it, guys.